Most people don't realize this, but money is constantly watching how you think. Not your words, not your goals, your thinking. Two people can earn the same income, live in the same city, and face the same economy, yet one feels calm around money while the other feels permanently on edge. The difference isn't discipline, it isn't intelligence, and it definitely isn't luck. It's orientation. Money responds to direction long before it responds to effort. In modern culture, we're taught to treat money like something we must chase. More hours, better tactics, smarter moves. And when it doesn't show up the way we expect, the instinct is always the same: push harder. But money doesn't reward pressure. It reacts to structure. Think about how anything valuable moves in the real world. Traffic flows where roads are clear. Electricity follows circuits. Water moves according to the shape that holds it. Without structure, even the most powerful force becomes chaotic. Money is no different. When your thinking lacks a clear vision, money has nowhere to settle. It comes in, leaves quickly, and creates the strange experience of earning more while feeling less secure. Not because you're careless, but because your financial life has no internal architecture. This is why so many capable, hardworking people feel stuck. They are active, but not oriented. Busy, but not aligned. They're moving forward without knowing what forward actually means. And money can sense that. Money avoids indecision, it avoids contradiction, it avoids people who change direction every time fear enters the room. This isn't personal, it's mechanical. Vision is not a dream, but it's a stabilizing force. Real vision doesn't shout, it doesn't motivate, it doesn't need to be shared. Vision quietly organizes your decisions before you even notice you're making them. It filters what matters from what doesn't. It creates consistency where there used to be reaction. And when that happens, something unexpected begins. You stop chasing income. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop needing every opportunity to work. Your choices slow down. Your priorities sharpen. Your actions start pointing in one direction instead of 10. That's when money starts to behave differently around you. Not because you were attracted to it, not because you manifested it, but because your life finally makes sense to support it. Money doesn't follow ambition, it follows coherence. This audiobook isn't about becoming more aggressive with your finances. It's about becoming clearer. It's about understanding the subtle internal shift that causes money to stop feeling random and start feeling responsive. Because the moment your thinking aligns with a clear vision, money no longer needs to be chased. It begins to follow. And once you understand why that happens, you'll never see money the same way again. Chapter 1. Most people chase money without knowing what they're building. Most people don't wake up thinking, "I don't know what I'm building." They wake up thinking about bills, deadlines, promotions, expenses. The next move that might make things a little easier. From the outside, it looks like progress. From the inside, it often feels like running. This is the quiet paradox of modern money life. People are more productive than ever, more informed, more connected. And yet, a large number of them feel financially tense, unsure, and strangely disconnected from the very money they work so hard to earn. The issue isn't effort, it's orientation. Most people chase money the way someone might keep adding bricks without a blueprint. They stack income on income, job on job, and opportunity on opportunity, without ever asking a deeper question: what am I actually building with this? Without that question, money turns into activity instead of progress. You can earn well and still feel unstable. You can save consistently and still feel behind. You can even invest and still feel uncertain. Because money, when disconnected from a clear destination, becomes weight instead of leverage. Society subtly trains this pattern. From an early age, the message is simple. Get skills, get paid, repeat. As long as income is coming in, things must be working. But income is not a destination, it's a material. Bricks are useful, wood is useful, steel is useful, but without a plan, they don't become a house. They become a pile. Money behaves the same way. When you don't know what you're building, every financial decision feels isolated. Each choice must justify itself in the moment. Should I take this job? Should I spend this? Should I invest here? There's no reference point, only pressure, and pressure leads to reactive decisions. Reactive decisions feel logical at the time, but over years they create fragmented lives. A little money here, a little progress there. Nothing wrong on paper, yet nothing solid when you step back and look. This is why many people feel tired around money, even when they're doing well. Their energy is being spent maintaining motion, not constructing direction. Chasing money without vision turns life into a series of financial sprints with no finish line. The wealthy rarely talk about this, not because it's secret, but because to them it's obvious. Money, to them, is never the project. And it's the supply chain. They don't ask, how do I make more money? They ask, what am I building that deserves money? That difference changes everything. When money is the goal, decisions are driven by urgency. When money is a tool, decisions are driven by design. Design introduces patience. Design introduces selectivity. Design introduces consistency. Without design, money feels slippery. With design, it becomes cooperative. This is also why chasing money often leads to contradictory behavior. People say they want freedom, yet choose paths that increase dependency. They say they want peace, yet structure their finances around constant stress. Not because they're irrational, but because they're building unconsciously. Unconscious buildings are still buildings, just not in your favor. Money doesn't care about intentions. It responds to patterns. If your pattern is scattered, money behaves unpredictably. If your pattern is coherent, money begins to stabilize. This isn't motivational language, it's structural reality. Think of any system that works well: a business, a city, a body. None of them function through effort alone. They function through organization. Clear roles, clear flows, clear priorities. Money requires the same environment. Most people never pause long enough to define what their financial life is meant to support. Not in numbers, but in shape. What kind of life is this money meant to hold? What should it make easier? What should it protect? What should it never be allowed to control? Without answers to those questions, money fills the vacuum with noise. It amplifies anxiety. It magnifies comparison. And it creates the illusion of progress without the substance of security. This is why chasing money often leads to more stress, not less. The more you earn, the more decisions you have to justify, without a framework to justify them against. But the moment you begin to see money as material instead of meaning, something shifts. You stop measuring success only by increases. You stop saying yes by default. You stop confusing activity with advancement. You begin to build deliberately. Building deliberately doesn't require grand plans or perfect clarity. It requires orientation, a sense of direction that remains steady even when circumstances change. Money relaxes around people like that. Not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because their financial life has a center of gravity. This chapter isn't asking you to abandon ambition, it's asking you to relocate it. Away from chasing money and toward constructing something that money naturally wants to support. Because money was never meant to be chased, it was meant to be used, intentionally, patiently, and in service of something larger than itself. And until you know what you're building, money will always feel one step ahead of you. In the next chapter, we'll look at what vision actually is and why it has nothing to do with dreaming and everything to do with filtering reality in your favor. Chapter 2. Vision is not a dream. It's a filter. When most people hear the word vision, they think of imagination, big goals, future fantasies, a picture of life that feels distant and emotional. That misunderstanding alone causes more financial confusion than almost anything else. Vision is not what you hope will happen. It's what quietly decides what doesn't happen. A dream expands possibilities, a vision narrows them, and money responds to narrowing, not wishing. This is where many people get stuck. They believe that wanting something strongly enough should create momentum. But strong desire without direction only increases motion, not progress. You end up doing more, deciding faster, reacting harder, without building anything more stable. Vision works in the opposite way. Vision reduces noise, and it simplifies choices before they become stressful. It removes options without guilt. It creates a sense of internal order that makes decisions feel obvious instead of exhausting. This is why two people can earn the same amount of money and experience it completely differently. One feels overwhelmed by every financial decision. The other feels almost bored by them. Not because one cares more, but because one has a filter and the other doesn't. A filter answers questions automatically. When an opportunity appears, vision quietly asks, "Does this belong in what I'm building?" If the answer is no, there is no internal debate, no justification, no fear of missing out. Without vision, every opportunity looks equally important. And when everything looks important, nothing feels secure. Money hates that environment. Not emotionally, structurally. Money moves through decisions. Decisions are shaped by priorities, and priorities come from vision. When vision is absent, money flows randomly because there is nothing guiding it toward consistency. This is why people with no clear vision often feel financially busy but directionless. They're constantly managing money instead of directing it, tracking it, adjusting it, worrying about it, but never deploying it with confidence. Vision changes that relationship. Vision doesn't tell you how to make money. It tells you what money is allowed to do in your life. That distinction is subtle, but everything depends on it. When vision is clear, money stops being asked to solve emotional problems. It's no longer used to relieve anxiety, prove worth, or chase security through accumulation. It becomes a tool with boundaries. Boundaries create trust. Money trusts environments where it won't be misused, where it won't be forced into roles it wasn't designed to play, where it can move slowly, predictably, and with purpose. Without vision, money becomes reactive. With vision, it becomes cooperative. Think of vision as a lens, not a spotlight aimed at the future, but a lens through which every present decision passes. You don't need to know every detail of where you're going. You only need to know what belongs and what doesn't. That clarity does something powerful. It reduces urgency. Urgency is one of the most expensive emotions in financial life. It makes good opportunities look mandatory and bad ones look necessary. It pushes people into decisions they wouldn't make if they felt calm. Vision removes urgency because it creates patience. Not passive patience, but grounded patience. The kind that comes from knowing there is no rush to arrive somewhere undefined. This is why vision often feels boring at first. It doesn't excite, it doesn't motivate, it doesn't promise anything dramatic. It simply stabilizes. And stabilization is exactly what money responds to. Most people believe money grows through acceleration, faster moves, bigger bets, quicker results. But money actually grows through containment, through being held inside structures that don't leak energy. Vision provides that containment. When you know what you're building, you stop explaining yourself. You stop needing constant confirmation. You stop chasing validation through financial outcomes. Your decisions begin to align naturally. Spending becomes intentional. Saving becomes easier. Investing feels calmer. Not because risk disappears, but because direction is clear. This is when money starts to feel different. It no longer feels like something you have to control. It feels like something that supports what you've already decided. Vision doesn't make you richer overnight. It makes you consistent. And consistency is what allows money to accumulate without chaos. There is a quiet confidence that comes from having a vision, even an incomplete one. It shows up in how you say no, in how you wait, in how little you react to short-term fluctuations. That confidence isn't visible on spreadsheets, but money recognizes it immediately. Because money is not attracted to intensity, it is attracted to alignment. Alignment happens when your thinking, your decisions, and your actions point in the same direction. Vision is what creates that alignment. Without vision, people try to fix their finances with tactics. With vision, tactics become secondary. They adjust naturally over time, without panic. This is why vision is not a dream. Dreams float. Vision anchors. Dreams ask, what if? Vision asks, what belongs? And once that question is answered, money begins to behave differently. Not because you forced it to, but because you finally gave it a reason to stay. In the next chapter, we'll explore why money actively avoids confused thinking and how internal contradiction quietly sabotages financial stability, even for people who seem to be doing everything right on the surface. Chapter 3. Why money avoids confused minds. Confusion is rarely loud. It doesn't announce itself as chaos. It often disguises itself as busyness. Most people assume their financial problems come from not earning enough, not knowing enough, or not trying hard enough. But in reality, many financial struggles come from something far quieter and far more persistent. Contradiction, wanting freedom but choosing obligations, wanting security but living reactively, wanting stability but changing direction every time fear appears. This internal mismatch is what money avoids. Money doesn't leave because you're careless. It leaves because it can't find consistency. Think about how decisions are made when your thinking is unclear. You hesitate, you second guess, you reverse choices, you react emotionally to short-term changes. And none of this feels dramatic in the moment, but over time, it creates a pattern, and money follows patterns. When your thinking sends mixed signals, your financial life reflects that confusion. One month, you save aggressively. The next, you spend impulsively. One year, you commit to a direction. The next, you abandon it for something that feels safer or faster. From the outside, this looks like adaptability. From the inside, it feels exhausting. Money reads this as instability. Not because money is judgmental, but because confusion creates friction, and friction makes systems inefficient. Money flows toward environments where it can move cleanly, predictably, and without constant interruption. Confused minds interrupt everything. This is why intelligent, capable people often struggle financially longer than expected. Intelligence doesn't prevent contradiction. In some cases, it amplifies it. Overthinking creates too many options. Too many options create hesitation. Hesitation creates inconsistency. Inconsistency repels money. Money prefers boring minds. Calm ones. Minds that don't overreact. Minds that don't reinvent the plan every time emotions shift. Minds that know what they're doing, even if what they're doing is simple. Confusion creates urgency. Urgency leads to pressure. Pressure leads to bad timing. And bad timing is expensive. Most poor financial decisions are not stupid. They are rushed. Rushed investments, rushed purchases, rushed commitments. And rushing almost always comes from internal uncertainty. When you don't trust your direction, you try to compensate with speed. You move quickly because standing still feels unsafe. But speed without clarity only multiplies mistakes. Money doesn't reward speed, it rewards precision. Precision comes from coherence. Coherence means your values, Priorities and decisions reinforce each other instead of competing. It means your actions today don't sabotage your intentions tomorrow. It means you're not constantly cleaning up the consequences of yesterday's fear. This is why money tends to stay with people who appear unbothered by it. They're not indifferent. They are aligned. Their thinking is settled. Their decisions are repeatable. Their behavior is predictable. Predictability is trust. Money trusts what it can anticipate. Confused minds are unpredictable. They oscillate between extremes: optimism and panic, confidence and doubt, discipline and indulgence. And money doesn't know how to position itself in that environment, so it passes through. This is also why people who suddenly receive money without internal clarity often lose it. The money didn't change them. It simply revealed the contradictions that were already there. Without a stable mental structure, money amplifies inconsistency instead of resolving it. More money doesn't fix confusion, it exposes it. The solution is not to think harder, it's to think cleaner. Clean thinking doesn't mean perfect thinking. It means fewer internal arguments, fewer competing identities, fewer half-decisions. It means knowing which version of yourself is in charge and letting that version stay in control long enough for patterns to form. Patterns create momentum. Momentum creates stability. Stability invites money. This is why vision matters so deeply at this stage. Vision eliminates contradiction by providing a reference point. When you know what you're building, decisions no longer fight each other. They align even when they're uncomfortable. You may still feel uncertainty. That's human. But uncertainty no longer runs the system. It becomes background noise instead of the steering wheel. Money responds to that shift immediately, not by rushing in, but by staying. Staying is the first sign of trust. When money stays, you stop managing emergencies. You stop reacting. You stop feeling like every decision carries disproportionate weight. Your financial life begins to breathe, and breathing is essential for growth. Most people try to grow money in an environment of mental tension, tight thinking, tight timelines, tight emotions. Growth doesn't happen there. It suffocates. Money needs space. Space is created by clarity. Clarity is created by coherence. When your thinking becomes coherent, money no longer needs to escape your life. It finds fewer reasons to leave, fewer leaks, fewer contradictions pulling it in opposite directions. This doesn't make you wealthy overnight, but it makes you stable. And stability is the foundation money builds on quietly, over time. In the next chapter, we'll explore the difference between wanting money and being ready for it, and why readiness, not desire, is the true gatekeeper of lasting wealth. Chapter 4. The difference between wanting money and being ready for it. Almost everyone wants money. Very few people are actually ready for it. This distinction explains more financial outcomes than intelligence, education, or effort ever could. Wanting money is emotional. Readiness is structural. Desire says, I need more. Readiness asks, where would it go? Most people never ask that second question. They assume that once money arrives, everything will naturally organize itself. Stress will disappear. Decisions will become easier. Life will feel lighter. But money doesn't organize chaos. It amplifies whatever structure already exists. This is why money often creates problems before it creates relief. When it enters an unprepared environment, it exposes weakness instead of solving it. More choices, more pressure, more ways to be wrong. A readiness is what prevents that. Being ready for money doesn't mean being perfect. It means having boundaries. It means knowing what money is allowed to touch and what it isn't. It means having a sense of containment. Without containment, money spreads everywhere, and when it spreads everywhere, it disappears. Think of readiness like a container. The size of the container doesn't matter as much as its integrity. A small, sturdy container holds value better than a large one, with cracks. Most people focus on increasing the amount of money coming in without strengthening the container it enters. That's why raises don't bring peace. That's why bonuses vanish. That's why windfalls feel strangely anticlimactic. The issue was never the amount. It was the lack of readiness. Readiness begins internally. It starts with knowing what money is meant to support in your life. Not what it could buy, but what it should protect. Your time, your energy, your future options, your sense of agency. When you don't know that, money is forced to play roles it was never designed for. It becomes emotional support, status validation, anxiety management, insurance against uncertainty. Money fails at all of those jobs, so it leaves. People often confuse readiness with discipline. They think if they just control themselves more, track more carefully, or optimize better, money will finally stay. But discipline without direction is just restraint, and restraint doesn't create trust. Money trusts direction. Direction tells money where it belongs and why it matters. It gives money a job that aligns with the life you're building, not the fears you're trying to suppress. This is why people who appear calm around money are often the ones least obsessed with it. They're not detached, they're prepared. Their relationship with money is settled. They know what enough looks like. They know what excess is for. They know what money should never be asked to fix. That clarity creates readiness. When readiness is present, money behaves differently. It doesn't rush in dramatically. It arrives quietly and stays longer. It becomes less volatile, less emotional, less central to your identity, and that's when it becomes useful. Readiness also changes how you respond to opportunity. Without readiness, opportunity feels urgent. You're afraid to miss out. You say yes too quickly. You commit before you understand the cost. With readiness, opportunity feels optional. You can evaluate without pressure. You can wait without fear. You can decline without regret. Money respects that posture because readiness communicates stability. It signals that your life doesn't depend on any single outcome, and systems that aren't desperate are easier to invest in, whether that investment comes from others or from your own future self. This is why money often flows toward people who seem to need it least. Not because the universe is unfair, but because those people are prepared to hold it without distortion. Desire distorts. Readiness stabilizes. You can see this pattern everywhere. Businesses that grow too fast collapse. Individuals who scale income without structure burn out. Investors who chase returns without readiness panic at the first sign of volatility. Money exposes what isn't ready. That's not a punishment. It's feedback. The good news is that readiness is learnable. It's not a trait you're born with. It's a state you develop. You develop it by slowing down decisions, by defining boundaries, by clarifying what money is for in your life before you have more of it. This doesn't require wealth. It requires honesty. Honesty about what you actually want money to do. Honesty about what it cannot fix. Honesty about where you're unprepared. That honesty creates alignment. Alignment creates trust. Trust creates staying power. When money senses readiness, it no longer needs to test you. It stops coming and going. It stops creating drama. It becomes a steady presence instead of a recurring crisis. This is the shift most people miss. They chase money harder when things feel unstable, when the real work is to become ready enough that money no longer needs to flee. In the next chapter, we'll explore how vision turns into structure and why structure is the invisible bridge between clarity and lasting wealth. Chapter 5. When vision becomes structure. Vision on its own is not enough. This is where many people get stuck. They reach clarity. They finally understand what they want to build. They feel aligned, calm, certain. And yet over time, money still slips through their fingers. Not because the vision was wrong, but because vision was never meant to stay abstract. Vision must become structured. Structure is vision made visible. Without structure, vision remains an idea. With structure, vision becomes something money can recognize, interact with, and support. This is the point where clarity stops being internal and starts shaping real outcomes. Most people misunderstand structure. They imagine rigid schedules, complex systems, or restrictive rules. That misunderstanding causes resistance. They think structure will limit their freedom. In reality, structure is what creates freedom. Structure is simply the set of decisions you no longer have to think about. When vision turns into structure, certain choices become automatic. You don't debate them. You don't negotiate with yourself. You don't redecide every time. That is where money starts to relax. Money is drained by constant decision-making. Every unresolved choice creates friction. Every repeated debate creates leakage. Over time, this friction doesn't just exhaust you, it destabilizes your financial life. Structure removes friction. It tells money where to flow, where to pause, and where not to go at all. It reduces emotional interference. It turns values into behavior. Without structure, even the clearest vision gets overridden by mood, by fatigue, by pressure, by short-term emotion. With structure, time's vision survives those moments. This is why wealthy people often appear boring in their habits. They don't constantly optimize. They don't endlessly adjust. They don't reinvent their financial life every year. They repeat what works. Repetition is not laziness. It's trust in structure. Structure doesn't require complexity. In fact, the most effective structures are usually simple. They just happen to be consistent. A clear way money enters your life, a clear way money is allocated, a clear boundary around what money is never used for. These decisions, once made, don't need to be revisited daily. That stability allows money to compound quietly instead of being constantly redirected. This is the hidden role of structure. It preserves momentum. Momentum is fragile. It's easily broken by impulsive changes. A structure protects momentum by limiting how often you interfere with it. Most people interrupt their own financial progress without realizing it. They change plans midstream. They override long-term decisions for short-term comfort. They adjust based on fear disguised as logic. Structure prevents that. Not by force, by design. When your vision becomes structure, money no longer feels personal. It becomes procedural. And procedures are easier to trust than emotions. This is why structure often feels emotionally neutral. It doesn't excite. It doesn't inspire. It doesn't promise anything dramatic. It just works. Money prefers that environment. Structure also changes how you experience time. Without structure, time feels urgent. You feel behind. You feel pressured to act now. With structure, time becomes an ally. You understand that progress unfolds, not explodes. That understanding reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety leads to better decisions. Better decisions reinforce structure, and the cycle strengthens itself. This is how money begins to accumulate without drama. Structure is also what allows vision to scale. A vision without structure collapses under growth. More income creates more stress. More opportunity creates more confusion. With structure, growth becomes manageable. Income increases don't overwhelm you. Opportunities don't distract you. Money expands inside a container that was designed to hold it. This is the difference between growth and strain. Most financial stress doesn't come from lack of money. It comes from money arriving faster than structure can handle. That mismatch creates tension, not freedom. The structure resolves that mismatch. It ensures that each new dollar knows its role, whether that role is to stabilize, to grow, or to protect. When money has a role, it stays. This is also why structure creates confidence. Not loud confidence, but quiet certainty. You don't feel the need to constantly evaluate yourself financially. You're not measuring your worth by outcomes. You're trusting the process you've built. That trust is visible. People sense it. Opportunities respond to it. Money responds to it. Because structure signals maturity. Maturity is what money looks for. Not ambition, not intelligence, not effort. Maturity. The ability to hold value without distorting it. When vision becomes structure, money stops being something you manage and starts being something that works with you. It supports the life you're building instead of distracting you from it. This doesn't happen overnight. Structure takes time to settle. It takes repetition. It takes restraint. But once it's in place, something fundamental shifts. Money no longer feels like a moving target. It feels like a steady participant. And that steadiness is what allows wealth, not just income, but real stability, to grow quietly in the background. In the next chapter, we'll explore why the truly wealthy rarely chase opportunities and how having structure allows opportunities and money to come to you instead. Chapter 6. Why the wealthy rarely chase opportunities. Most people believe opportunity is something you must chase before it disappears. A narrow window, a limited moment, a chance you'll regret missing. This belief shapes how people make financial decisions more than almost anything else. It creates urgency, it creates pressure, and most importantly, it creates movement without direction. The wealthy don't move like that, not because they see fewer opportunities, but because they see them differently. Chasing opportunity is what people do when they don't trust their direction. When you're unsure of what you're building, every opportunity feels like a possible rescue. You lean toward what looks promising instead of what fits. You move because standing still feels risky. But for the wealthy, standing still is rarely dangerous. They don't chase opportunities because opportunity is not their strategy. Direction is. Direction acts like gravity. When it's strong, opportunities come toward it naturally. When it's weak, you spend your energy running after whatever flashes in front of you. This is the quiet advantage of clarity. Wealthy people usually have a clear sense of what they are building, even if they never explain it out loud. Because of that, they don't need every opportunity to work. They only need the right ones. That selectivity is not arrogance, it's efficiency. Chasing opportunities scatters attention. It fragments capital. It breaks focus. Over time, it turns promising people into exhausted ones. This is why many capable individuals feel perpetually busy, yet financially stagnant. They are always responding, always adjusting, always reacting. They mistake responsiveness for progress, but responsiveness without direction is just noise. The wealthy understand a simple truth. Most opportunities are distractions. They look attractive because they offer movement, novelty, or the illusion of acceleration. But acceleration toward the wrong destination doesn't create wealth. It creates fatigue. Wealth is built through alignment, not accumulation of chances. This is also why wealthy people often seem unimpressed by trends. They don't rush to participate in whatever is popular. They don't feel threatened by missing out. They know that trends come and go, but direction compounds. Compounding doesn't reward speed. It rewards consistency. When you chase opportunities, you reset your momentum over and over again. Each new direction requires new learning, new risk, new emotional investment. Nothing gets enough time to mature. The wealthy allow time to do its work. Time is not neutral. Time amplifies whatever is stable. If your direction is stable, time multiplies progress. If your direction is chaotic, time multiplies mistakes. This is why wealthy people protect their time more fiercely than their money. They know that chasing opportunities consumes time in ways that are invisible but irreversible. Every opportunity has a hidden cost, not just financial, but cognitive. It demands attention. It creates decision fatigue. It invites emotional involvement, and emotional involvement is expensive. The wealthy minimize emotional volatility around money, not because they feel less, but because they design their lives to require fewer emotional decisions. That design allows them to wait. Waiting is not passive. It is intentional restraint. When you know what you're building, you can let opportunities pass without anxiety. You don't interpret rejection as loss. You don't interpret delay as danger. You understand that not every open door leads somewhere worth going. This calm posture changes how opportunities behave around you. People notice it, markets notice it, money notices it. Opportunities tend to flow toward those who don't need them. This isn't mystical, it's practical. People trust those who aren't desperate. Capital flows toward environments where it won't be rushed or misused. Systems favor those who act deliberately. Chasing opportunity signals uncertainty. Declining opportunity signals clarity. That clarity attracts better opportunities over time. And the wealthy also understand something else most people miss. Opportunities are contextual. An opportunity that is powerful for one person may be destructive for another. Without direction, you can't evaluate context. You judge opportunities by surface features, returns, status, excitement. With direction, you judge them by fit. Fit determines sustainability. An opportunity that fits your direction strengthens your system. One that doesn't fit weakens it, even if it succeeds financially in the short term. This is why wealthy people sometimes walk away from profitable situations. They see the long-term cost. They see the distraction. They see the misalignment. They choose coherence over short-term gain. This choice compounds trust, both internal and external. Internally, it builds confidence. You trust yourself because you don't betray your own direction. Externally, it builds reputation. Others see you as stable, consistent, and reliable. Those qualities attract better capital, better partnerships, and better timing. Timing matters more than opportunity. Chasing opportunity often means entering too early or too late. You're pulled by emotion rather than positioned by readiness. Wealthy people let timing come to them because their structure is prepared to receive it. They don't rush the moment. They recognize it. Recognition requires clarity. Clarity requires patience. Patience is often misunderstood as inaction, but in reality, patience is disciplined waiting. It's the ability to remain aligned while conditions develop. Most people abandon alignment under pressure. The wealthy maintain it. And this is why their financial lives feel quieter, less dramatic, less reactive. They experience fewer emotional swings, not because outcomes are smoother, but because their response is stable. Stability is magnetic. When you stop chasing opportunities, you stop leaking energy. That energy gets reinvested into what you're already building. Progress deepens instead of spreading thin. Over time, that depth creates leverage. Leverage is what allows small decisions to produce large outcomes, and leverage only works when direction is consistent. This is the paradox. By chasing less, the wealthy receive more. Not more options, but better ones. They don't need to scan constantly for the next thing. They let their direction do the filtering. They let their structure do the holding. They let time do the multiplying. This is not a mindset trick. It's a strategic posture. When you stop chasing opportunities, you reclaim your attention. When you reclaim your attention, your decisions improve. When your decisions improve, money behaves differently around you. Money stops testing you with constant choices. It starts supporting you with stability. In the next chapter, we'll look at the precise moment when money begins to follow you. Not because you asked it to, but because your direction, structure, and restraint finally gave it no reason to do otherwise. Chapter 7. The moment money starts following you. There is a moment in every long financial journey that almost no one talks about. Not the moment you earn more, Not the moment you land a big opportunity, not the moment numbers finally look impressive. It's quieter than that. It's the moment money stops being something you chase and starts behaving like something that responds. Most people miss this moment because they're looking for external proof. A raise, a breakthrough, a visible win. But the real shift happens internally, long before anything changes on the surface. It begins when your decisions slow down, not because you're stuck, but because you're no longer rushed. This is the first sign. When money stops controlling your urgency, your nervous system changes. You no longer feel the need to act just to relieve pressure. You can sit with uncertainty without panicking. You can wait without feeling behind. Waiting used to feel dangerous. Now it feels neutral. That neutrality is not apathy, it's alignment. Most people associate progress with motion. If they're not moving, they feel like they're losing ground. But once your direction is clear and your structure is in place, motion becomes optional. Progress happens even when nothing dramatic is occurring. This is deeply unsettling at first. You've been trained to equate intensity with effectiveness. When intensity drops, your mind assumes something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. You're just no longer fighting yourself. Money responds immediately to that shift. Not by flooding in, but by staying. Staying is the signal. Money begins to linger instead of passing through. Expenses feel less chaotic. Income feels less fragile. You're no longer constantly repairing financial damage from emotional decisions. Your financial life starts to feel quieter. Quiet doesn't mean small. Quiet means stable. Stability is the condition money needs to compound. This is also when your relationship with risk changes. You no longer feel compelled to take risks just to feel alive or hopeful. You assess risk based on fit, not fantasy. You can tolerate missing out because you trust your direction. That trust is visible. People sense it in how you speak, in how you pause, in how you don't oversell or overpromise. Opportunities start to approach you differently. Conversations change. Offers feel more thoughtful. You're no longer being pitched urgency. You're being invited into alignment. This is the paradox of wealth. The less you chase, the more selectively you're pursued. But the real transformation is internal. Money stops being emotional. It no longer defines your mood. A good month doesn't inflate you. A slow month doesn't destabilize you. You begin to experience money as a variable, not an identity. That emotional neutrality is powerful. It removes distortion from decision-making. You're no longer trying to fix how you feel with financial choices. Money is allowed to do what it does best: support systems, not emotions. This is the moment many people describe as feeling ahead, even when nothing obvious has changed. You're not ahead in numbers, you're ahead in orientation. Orientation determines outcomes. When your orientation is settled, your actions become consistent. Consistency creates patterns. Patterns create predictability. Predictability creates trust. And money trusts environments where behavior is repeatable. This is why people who reach this stage often find that things start working with less effort. Not because they're doing less, but because they've stopped undoing their own progress. Most financial setbacks are self-inflicted, even if unintentionally. Panic decisions, overreactions, abandoning structure under stress. Once those behaviors fade, momentum no longer resets. Momentum is subtle, but it's powerful. You feel it when you realize you're no longer catching up. You're simply continuing. The future stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like a continuation of what's already working. Money aligns with that feeling, because money prefers continuity. Continuity signals safety. Safety allows for patience. Patience allows for compounding. Compounding creates results that feel almost unfair to those still chasing intensity. This is why people often assume the wealthy are lucky. They don't see the years of internal stabilization that came first. They only see the external outcomes that arrived later. But money always follows internal order. At this stage, you also stop narrating your financial life so loudly, to yourself and to others. You don't need constant reassurance. You don't need to prove progress. You're no longer checking every sign for validation. You know where you're going. Knowing where you're going changes how you experience time. Short-term fluctuations lose their power. You don't emotionally react to every dip or delay. You understand that variance is part of the process. This emotional steadiness is rare, and money notices rare conditions. Money doesn't need motivation, it needs stability. Once stability is present, money's behavior shifts naturally. It becomes less volatile, less dramatic, less demanding of your attention. Ironically, this is when you think about money the least, while it works the most. Not because you've disengaged, but because you've integrated. Integration means money is no longer a separate problem to solve. It's part of a system you trust. And trust reduces cognitive load. Reduced cognitive load frees creativity. Creativity increases value. Value attracts money. The loop closes. This is the moment money starts following you. Not because you mastered a tactic, not because you found a secret, but because your life stopped sending mixed signals. You became coherent. Coherence is rare, and rare environments attract resources. This chapter is not meant to be aspirational. It's meant to be recognizable. If you're approaching this stage, you may already feel it. The calm, the reduction in urgency, the quiet confidence that you're no longer improvising. If you're not there yet, that's fine. This moment can't be forced. It emerges naturally from clarity, readiness, and structure sustained over time. Money doesn't respond to effort in isolation. It responds to who you've become consistent enough to be. In the final chapter, we'll bring everything together and redefine what it actually means to build wealth when money is no longer the thing you're chasing, but the thing that follows. Chapter 8. You are never meant to chase money. At some point, a quiet realization settles in. Money was never meant to be chased. Chasing implies distance. It implies resistance. It implies that what you want is always one step ahead of you. That relationship alone guarantees tension. Most people spend their entire financial lives running toward money as if it were something external, something separate from who they are and how they live. They organize their days around earning, their decisions around protecting, and their emotions around fluctuations they don't fully control. And the result is predictable. Even when money shows up, it never feels settled. Even when goals are reached, relief is temporary. Even when progress is visible, anxiety lingers. Because chasing never ends in possession. It ends in exhaustion. And the deeper truth is simpler, but harder to accept. Money is not a destination. It's a response. It responds to clarity. It responds to structure. It responds to consistency. And most of all, it responds to identity. This is the part rarely explained. Money does not follow what you want. It follows what you are repeatedly aligned to. Your patterns, your standards, your tolerance for chaos or calm. When money feels elusive, it's rarely because it's scarce. It's because it has no reason to attach itself to a moving target. This is why the chase never works. You're asking money to stabilize your life while your life remains unstable. You're asking money to create direction while you avoid committing to one. Money cannot do that job, and it was never meant to. Money works best as a consequence, not a cause. Once you stop chasing it, something counterintuitive happens. You begin to design your life without constantly consulting money for permission. You make decisions based on coherence rather than payoff. You choose alignment over acceleration. This feels risky at first. You've been trained to believe that letting go of the chase means letting go of progress. That if you're not aggressively pursuing money, you're falling behind. But the opposite is true. When you stop chasing money, you reclaim your attention. And attention is the most valuable resource you have. Attention determines what you notice, what you improve, and what you allow to compound. Money follows attention that is focused and sustained. This is why people who build something meaningful often look financially lucky later on. They weren't chasing money, they were building coherence. And money arrived because coherence created value, and value attracts capital. This is not idealism, it's mechanics. Money is drawn to systems that function without emotional volatility. Systems that don't collapse under pressure. Systems that can absorb growth without breaking. Those systems are built by people who have stopped outsourcing their sense of safety to money. Safety comes from structure. Freedom comes from boundaries. Wealth comes from patience. These ideas don't sell well because they don't promise immediacy. They promise durability. Durability is what money trusts. When you stop chasing money, you also stop asking it to define you. You're no longer measuring your worth by income or comparing your pace to others. You're measuring progress by internal stability, by how repeatable your life has become. Repeatability is underrated. And a life you can repeat calmly is far more powerful than a life that spikes occasionally and crashes regularly. Money accumulates where behavior is predictable and sustainable. This is why wealthy lives often look uneventful on the surface. Fewer dramatic wins, fewer desperate moves, less emotional storytelling, just consistency. Consistency is not exciting, but it is unstoppable. At this stage, money becomes almost boring. Not because it's insignificant, but because it's no longer central. It does its job quietly. It supports instead of distracts. It becomes a background function rather than a daily concern. That shift frees mental space. With that space, you think better. You see longer timelines. You stop mistaking urgency for importance. You start asking higher quality questions. Say not, how do I make more money? But what kind of life am I making inevitable? That question changes everything. When life makes sense, money follows naturally. It moves toward what is clear, contained, and coherent. It avoids what is frantic, contradictory, and unstable. This has always been true. The mistake was believing money was the prize. In reality, money is feedback. It reflects how well your internal world is organized. When your thinking settles, your behavior aligns. When behavior aligns, outcomes stabilize. Wealth is not built by force. It's built by order. Order doesn't mean control. It means harmony between intention and action, between values and behavior, between what you say you want and what you consistently choose. Money responds to that harmony automatically. This is why some people seem to grow wealth without visible struggle. They're not smarter. They're not luckier. They're simply not divided. Their decisions don't argue with each other. Their lives don't send mixed signals. Money finds that environment easy to inhabit. And when money finds ease, it stays. This chapter is not an ending. It's a return. A return to the understanding that money is not the driver of your life, but the passenger. It goes where you go. It grows where you grow stable. It follows when you stop running. You were never meant to chase money. You were meant to build something coherent enough that money had no choice but to follow. When that happens, wealth stops being a goal. It becomes a byproduct. And once wealth is a byproduct, fear loses its leverage. Now, decisions become cleaner. Time stretches. The future feels less threatening and more like an extension of what's already working. That is real wealth, not excess, not status, but the quiet confidence of a life that no longer needs money to prove anything because money has already found its place. And when money has a place, it behaves. When money finally knows where you're going. If there is one idea that quietly holds everything together, it's this. Money has never been confused. People have. Money has always followed structure, clarity, and consistency. It has always avoided contradiction, urgency, and emotional noise. The only thing that changes from one life to another is the environment money enters. Throughout this audiobook, you've seen the same pattern repeat in different forms. People chase money when they don't know what they're building. They feel pressure when their direction is unclear. They experience volatility when their decisions contradict each other. And they feel relief only when they stop asking money to do a job it was never meant to do. Money is not a solution. It is a response. It responds to how your life is organized. So it responds to the stability of your thinking. It responds to the coherence between what you say matters and what you consistently choose. This is why the chase never ends well. Chasing implies that money is the missing piece. But the missing piece was never money. It was orientation. Once orientation is present, everything else changes quietly. You stop asking money to validate you. You stop using money to manage fear. You stop measuring progress by intensity. Instead, you begin to measure progress by repeatability, by how calm your decisions feel, by how little effort it takes to stay aligned. That shift doesn't feel dramatic. In fact, it can feel almost disappointing at first. There's no rush, no surge, no moment where everything suddenly looks impressive from the outside. But something far more important happens on the inside. Your financial life becomes predictable. Predictability is not boring, it is powerful. Predictability allows time to work in your favor. It allows small advantages to compound. It allows you to wait instead of react. And waiting, when done from clarity, is one of the most profitable behaviors there is. This is what separates lasting wealth from temporary success. Temporary success comes from momentum without containment. Lasting wealth comes from containment that allows momentum to build without leaking away. Containment is not restriction, it is definition. When your life is defined, money knows how to behave within it. When your values are clear, money stops testing you. When your structure is stable, money stops leaving. And when money stops leaving, it starts growing quietly in the background. This is why the wealthy rarely talk about money the way others do. To them, money is no longer the center of attention. It's a supporting character, useful, necessary, but not in charge. They don't chase money because they don't need it to lead. They've already decided where they're going. That decision is the real work. Everything else is secondary. If there's one thing to take with you from this audiobook, let it be this understanding. Wealth is not something you force into your life. It's something that emerges when your life makes sense to hold it. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more tactics. You don't need more urgency. You need clarity that lasts longer than your emotions. That clarity will guide your decisions when motivation fades. It will protect your structure when pressure rises. But it will signal to money that it has entered an environment where it can stay without distortion. This is not about becoming wealthy quickly. It's about becoming someone wealth can rely on. Reliability is rare, and rare qualities attract resources. When your thinking settles, your actions align. When your actions align, your life becomes coherent. When your life is coherent, money follows naturally, without drama, without chase, without constant negotiation. This is the quiet ending most people never reach, because they're too busy running. But if you've made it here, you already understand something important. Money is not ahead of you. It's behind you, responding to the direction you've set. Set the direction well, and money will take care of its part. Not because you asked it to, but because finally, it knows where you're going.